I'm going to take a shot on this one.
I'm going to say beer.
I'm buying everybody around on this. Oh my God.
The Battle of Florida will be the best first round series. I got to look at you, Mr. LaRocco.
Yeah, when I'm going over my head, I think that's accurate. The Islanders and Penguins have a history, so that could be a good series. And Washington, Boston too. They don't have any love lost, but when I look at it, these two teams haven't played in a playoff series. The Lightning are coming off a Stanley Cup victory. The Panthers had a phenomenal year. I think that the last game that they just played was pretty ugly. It was intense. I think it's going to be a fun, high-scoring, fast-paced series with a lot of animosity. I think this is going to be a really good one. I think that, there's a lot of skill. You're talking Kucherov and Stamkos and Point, and then Huberdeau and Barkov, and there's just so much talent in this series. And being that it's interstate Florida for the first time, I think it's going to be a really great one. So I'm gonna go around there. I think the series is going to be really good.
Don?
I'm going to go beer because I think of two other series that could really give it a run for its money. The Islanders and the Penguins, I think it's going to be a really good series. I think there's going to be a lot of vitriol between those two teams, a lot of venom. Also, Montreal and Toronto. We haven't seen that in a long time, and that's going to be a premier matchup. Like I said, I have Montreal winning that one in 7, so I think that's going to be a real fun series to watch. I think there's going to be a lot of eyes glued to that one. So yeah, the Battle of Florida very well could be, but I think those other two series can just as easily be the best first round series to watch. So beer.
I'm going to go buy everybody around. This is the first time these two teams are meeting ever. And again, the big factor to me is going to be Joel Quenneville. This is a new Florida team. They are now ready for prime time. And are they good enough to beat the Lightning? Well, that's a good question because the Lightning, they're going to get back Kucherov. But on the other hand, Lightning is dealing with some injuries. Victor Hedman hasn't been healthy. Steven Stamkos hasn't been healthy. So this might be an open door for Florida to finally advance for the first time since 96. So
97.
97? No, 97. They lost the Rangers in the first round.
No, that wasn't. Oh no, they faced the Devils in the second round. That's right.
It's the Devils in the first round. Yeah. Because I always criticize that the Devils had an easy path to that Stanley Cup, which is going to lead me into what my predictions are.
Well, I'm going to say, you're forgetting one thing before you go.
Good.
Aaron, Florida.
Yeah, but they have been so good. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Tampa Bay wins. Come on, they're the Stanley Cup champions, and they've been the best team in hockey over the last 3 years. But I'm going to go against the grain. I'm going with Florida. I'm going to go Florida in 6, and this is my big whopper. Carolina's sweeping. There is no chance that Nashville wins a game. I'd be shocked if that's the case. Phil?
I mean, for the Central, I went with Carolina in 5, just because I think that one of Rene or Saros can steal a game. I don't trust Mrazek or Nedeljkovic yet. And I set Tampa Bay in 5 just because I think that with Ekblad out, it really, really hurts them against a much better and stacked offensive team like Tampa. I just don't think Florida has the depth to deal with them. I think the games will be close, but in the end, I just think Tampa Bay is just way too strong for them. So Tampa Bay in 5. And Florida and Carolina in 5.
Anthony?
So I said Carolina in 5 too. They've been one of the better teams in the league this year. Nashville for a while struggled. They eventually found their game and got in the playoffs. But Carolina is just too strong for them. I don't think it'll be a sweep, but I think Nashville will win a game just because, as John said, I think Saros is capable of stealing a game or even Rene. And just because Nashville's defense is still pretty good. So all it takes is one night that they're really good. Carolina can't get it going. So Carolina 5, and then Tampa Bay in 6. Although, I mean, I can see a scenario where Florida wins, but I'm going to stick with Tampa Bay because, Barkov and Huberdeau, especially Huberdeau, he's been so dynamic. Carter Verhaeghe just came back, and, he left off where he, what he was when he went out. He's scoring again. And they're deep in goal. You got Spencer Knight, who's good, Bobrovsky, and then Chris Dreiger, has been good this year. So, Sam Bennett's been really good. So they got a lot of talent, but so they can do it. But I'm going to stick with Tampa Bay just because they're the defending Cup champs. They know what it takes. They've been there. I think they'll find a way to get it done.
John, what was the point you were about to make? Because I was about to make one,
Two
too.
points to make. One, do you get playoff Sam Bennett? And two, Carter Verhaeghe against his former team. Going to be a nice little storyline to look out for.
And mine was going to be the only problem with goaltending when you have too much talent in goal is only one net. So you can't play them both at the same time.
Good point.
To the division that is always fluid, and it's still fluid, could Colorado be scared of St. Louis? You know what? I'm going to jump on that one first. And I understand St. Louis has got their 2 years removed from the Stanley Cup, and they may have it back. No, Colorado, I think, would move on quickly from them. They might lose a couple games. They might lose in. Let me see. What my prediction is? It's my prediction is Vegas and Colorado both advance in 6. So whichever team Colorado ends up playing, either if it's St. Louis and they win the division, or if Vegas plays them, St. Louis is out in 6. And I don't think I know it's a 6-game series. I don't think it's a close 6-game series. That's the difference on that one. Philip, what do you think?
Well, I went as constructed right now. So as of this moment, Vegas is at 80 points. And Colorado has the game in hand, but Vegas also has one more ROW, which is the first tiebreaker. So I'm going to go with Vegas in 5 over St. Louis because of the fact that I think that Vegas really just is probably the second or possibly even the most well-rounded team in the NHL right now. They just have everything you need to win. Pietrangelo was the big addition on defense, and he's helped make that defense into one of the best defenses in the NHL. They have the best goaltending tandem in the NHL. They have scoring up front in between Carlson, Pacioretty, Stone, Marchessault, Smith, Alex Tuck. I mean, they've got 6 guys that really drive play for them right there. So I don't think Vegas, and I don't think Colorado should be even scared of St. Louis. As for Minnesota, Colorado is going to sweep Minnesota. That's my one sweep. I just don't think Minnesota is going to be able to get enough scoring against them outside of that top line. And that top line has got to be great in the playoffs. Otherwise, they do not stand a chance of winning a game. And to me, that's the biggest concern for Minnesota is where is their offense going to come from playoff time. So I've got, as constructed right now, Vegas and St. Louis and Colorado and Minnesota. Vegas in 5 over St. Louis, Colorado in 4 over Minnesota.
Anthony.
Well, first of Colorado right now is not playing St. Louis. Vegas would. So, but
yeah, that's why I fixed the question afterwards.
That's what I said.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, just to answer the question anyway, I know Colorado shouldn't be scared of St. Louis. And St. Louis, yeah, they're not far from the room of winning a cup, but I don't see them posing any threat to Colorado if they met somewhere in the playoffs. But as for Colorado instead of Minnesota, I actually think that close. I still have Colorado winning, but you gotta remember, Minnesota could still actually finish second, and Colorado could finish third. Minnesota's a good team. I wouldn't sell them short. Kaprizov's having one hell of a rookie year. I mean, he's looking extremely dynamic, and even despite aside from Kaprizov not having like many like names that jump off right off the page, they're getting it done. They're a fast team. They play good defense. I mean, Matt Dumba, Jared Spurgeon, they can both skate, move, provide some offense. Jonas Brodin. So, yeah, I mean, again, yeah, I could see Colorado being a little scared of Minnesota, but I still have Colorado winning that series in that 2-3 matchup. But as for Vegas in 5, they're easily going to take care of St. Louis, and I have Colorado in 6. Despite how good I think Minnesota is, Colorado is just on a level right now. Grubauer is fantastic. Their defense, Sam Girard, Cale Makar, Devon Taves, they could all skate and provide offense. And then McKinnon, I mean, just McKinnon's Nathan McKinnon. I think they could go all the way. So yeah, Vegas 5, Colorado in 6.
2 things there. If playoff Nathan McKinnon from last year comes back, Minnesota has no chance whatsoever. And for all the people who question Colorado's goaltending, where's the questions about Minnesota's goaltending then? Because Minnesota's goaltending is an even bigger question mark.
Don't they have Cam Talbot in net? Because, I mean, isn't he better than Henrik Lundqvist in his career? So, again, that was a hot take from Ranger fans in 2015. I still haven't forgiven us for. Connor McDavid needs success more than the Toronto Maple Leafs. I've got to go to our resident Connor McDavid lover.
Oh, my God. Oh, man. So we're talking about a 54-year drought. The New York Rangers will say hi to you, Maple Leaf fans. And we're talking about a player who is really right smack dab in his prime year is playing his most dominant hockey. I'm gonna say shot on this because you have a 54-year drought. The Leafs have won the division for the first time since when? I mean, I don't even remember the last time the Leafs won the division, to tell you the truth.
I could research it, but it's going back years. I don't know if they even won the division in the early 2000s. I don't even know.
No, I don't think they have. But they won the division. I mean, they finished with 76 points, which is 4 off the NHL lead shared by Carolina and Vegas. Well, Vegas, if they win, would get 82, and they would be the number 1 team in the league. But I mean, this is a Toronto Maple Leafs team that's the best that they've put out in a while. They went and they got pieces at the deadline that could help them, and guys like Ben Hutton and Riley Nash and Nick Foligno. I mean, they brought
99 2000, by the way.
What's that?
99 2000.
99 2000. So it was 21 years ago that they last won the division. I mean, I've got to go shot here. Connor McDavid has time. He has time. He's only 24, I believe. So the Toronto Maple Leafs, if they don't win this year, that's going to start approaching 55. And if they don't win in the next few years, you're looking at an almost 60-year drought. And the Canadian media is going to get restless with the team. And then how long is it before they turn into the Chicago Cubs? Then you have to start thinking about that, in 5-10 years. So the Maple Leafs need this more than Connor McDavid.
Anthony.
Shot for sure. McDavid, even if, the Oilers don't have the success of a team, he's just so ridiculously talented. I mean, the guy got 102 points, with room to add some more before we close out the regular season here. He's unbelievable. Like John said, he's still young. He's still got a lot of time. I don't think this is a guy you're going to be talking about the best player to ever play with that win in the Cup. He's going to get his. He's unquestionably the best player of our generation, most skilled of all time. So as far as the Maple Leafs go, no, I mean, they need to win in the worst way. I mean, let's face it, let's just call a spade here. Yeah, they won the division, but they were playing in the North Division where they only played Canadian teams. If this was a normal year and they were in the Atlantic and they were playing teams like Boston and Tampa and Pittsburgh and the Islanders and Washington, they would have wore down a long time ago. They're good teams, don't get me wrong, but they were in a cupcake division in my opinion. And let me tell you something, if they still lose in the first round and don't advance, all hell's going to break out in Toronto because this year they're like, oh yeah, we get away from Boston. Boston's been their kryptonite. So if they still somehow lose and don't get to the conference finals or beyond, I mean, forget about it. They need this in the worst way, because if they fail to get the job done, whether you question getting the job done as winning the cup or simply winning a round, it goes back to normal next year, fellas, and they're going to be up for it again. So this is their chance. If they don't take the opportunity here, man, I'm gonna love to hear the criticism that they get in the Canadian media. Trade Tavares, trade Marner, do this, fire Dubas. It's gonna be hilarious, and I'm here for it.
There will be a reckoning of epic proportions if Toronto doesn't at least get to the conference finals. I mean, maybe if they I mean, by that I mean the top four. If it's a beer for me, I'm going to say this right now, and I'll go why it's a beer in a second. But they are out of excuses. They played in a division with no Bruins, no Maple Leafs, hell, no Panthers, and they didn't have to face another Eastern Conference team if we did the 1-8 format. More on that later. There was so much that they were able to escape. All that being said, Connor McDavid just scored 100 points, guys. You can't score 100 points and then not win. I'm going to say he's got to get to the conference finals too, because you know what he's starting to look like? He's starting to look like Alexander Ovechkin. Yeah, hey, great. You've gotten all this regular season stuff. Where's your playoff success? That's what he's won one round in his career so far. He's got he's won one more round than Jack Eichel. Think about that one for a second. So, two? What was the other one?
He got to the conference finals in 2017. No, I'm sorry. No, you're right. Second round. He was one game away from the conference finals. I'm sorry.
Right, and of course, everybody will say that Ryan Kessler interfered with Cam Talbot, and that changed the outcome of everything.
Remember that collapse against Anaheim when they blew that lead? That was
that 3-goal lead with and you can't have that happen. So now it's almost like a basketball scenario where he's got to lift the entire team on his shoulders, and that's unfair to ask any hockey player to do. Maybe a goalie can do it, because after all, we saw Henrik Lundqvist do it several times. But a goalie could do it. A center can do it. It's just not likely. So that's why it's a little bit more of a toss-up for me. I would love to hear what you have to say about this in the comments. Please let me know. But because it goes into what our predictions are. Because as we're doing this, Anthony, your North predictions?
Yeah, so I'm not surprised actually. John kind of agreed with me here, but I because not many people are giving Montreal a shot, but I go Montreal on 7. I think come the play. Granted, Nick Foligno and Simmons will help Toronto be a little more of a tougher team, but I think come the playoff time, sometimes they just wilt. And Montreal's they're fast, they're hungry. Cole Caulfield has been, I think, pretty good for them. He scored 2 back-to-back overtime winners in his first 2 games. They carry Price as long as he's healthy. He's definitely the edge in goal. And then they got other guys that could score. Tatar's a solid player. Kakaniemi. Shea Weber's still physical beast at the point. I mean, don't get me wrong. Toronto can easily win. But something about this Montreal team just makes me go, I think they can pull the upset here. And then the other matchup, speaking of McDavid, it's only so much long Batman and Robin can do. McDavid and Draisaitl. They don't have much other help, aside Nugent Hopkins. I think in a playoff series, Winnipeg just has better depth. I mean, Connor, Scheifele, Dubois, Wheeler, they're, Kopp and Lowry chip in and score big bodies. And then, of course, Connor Hellebuck in goal. I just think Winnipeg has the advantage in too many categories. Yeah, they have McDavid and Draisaitl, which no team can really compete with. But I think overall those two can only go so far, especially in a playoff series. So Yeah, those are my North predictions. I know some people might be surprised, but I tell you, I think it has a chance of happening, shaking out that way.
Really quick before I give yours, John, answer that question.
Toronto.
Oof.
Toronto and Boston.
I think Toronto and Boston 2013. Yeah.
I'm going to go Edmonton versus Anaheim.
No.
It's that. I think it was 3 goals in 2 minutes. I think Boston was 3 goals in 1 minute and 30, but still.
You don't have the lead that they have in Game 7 and then just a bigger.
Yeah.
Oh, John, I accidentally clicked it, so now you're on the spot.
I don't think I said Winnipeg in 7, though.
Oh, you didn't?
No, I don't think I said that.
No. I will fix that right
Winnipeg,
now.
though. I'm pretty sure you picked Winnipeg.
I say Winnipeg, but it was not in 7 games. I could definitely tell you that.
Okay. What, 6?
No, I actually have Winnipeg in 5.
Okay. Please go on.
Well, yeah, I mean, as I stated before, the Montreal prediction was 7 games. I've said it from before the start of the season that Montreal was going to be a real dark horse team. I just think that the way that they're constructed kind of reminds me of the Islanders in a way. It's just very up-tempo. I mean, they don't play the same defensive game, but they have a whole bunch of guys on that team that can score. I mean, you have Suzuki, Deneau, Tatar, Anderson, Gallagher, Kakiniemi, Paul Byron. I mean, up and down their lineup. It's just, and then you bring in Caulfield, and he's scoring. I mean, their defense is solid with Weber, Petrie, Romanov has played well for them. I mean, and I do say that Carey Price is the most overrated goaltender in the league, but he's still better than anything that Toronto can throw at them. So I'm going 7 if that team stays healthy and there are no injuries, because I think Toronto is a tougher team than they were before the deadline, and the deadline acquisitions definitely helped them. But I just think that Montreal's speed and their hard-nosed play is really going to give Toronto a tough time, and I think it comes down to goaltending. I think Carey Price is going to help steal them games in that series. Winnipeg, I just think their defense is better. I don't like Edmonton's defense at all. The center matchup, obviously, McDavid and Draisaitl versus Scheifele and Dubois is definitely in Edmonton's advantage, and I think Connor McDavid's going to score, but how are they going to stop Winnipeg's offense? That's what my problem is. And in goal, they've got nothing in goal. Who you're throwing at them? Mike Smith? I don't feel reliable.
Yeah.
I don't feel
former Islander.
I'm not. Or Koskinen. I mean, who are they throwing at them? It's their goaltending is just some of the worst that's in the playoffs right now. And then you have them going up against one of the 3 best goalies in the league, and that defense and the well-rounded offense that they have with the depth players like Adam Lowry's and Andrew Kops and guys like them, and then you have someone like Mason Appleton who has actually started scoring for them. Watch out! I don't like the outcome for this for Edmonton, so I'm going Winnipeg in 5 there.
I'm going chalk. I'm going to go with Toronto and Edmonton in each in 5. I think Winnipeg and Montreal have been limping in the last 10 games, and it's been very difficult for them. The other thing kind of to go with is I just think they have to. They have no excuses right now. They can't not succeed. Toronto, if this doesn't work this year, I think you have to blow it up. I really do, because I don't think they're going to be good enough to go back in their old division. And I also think if Edmonton, season Connor McDavid had, you have to advance. You can't not. This time he doesn't get a Chicago Blackhawks that he has to go up against. So he doesn't get an experienced playoff team when he has his best team that he's had. And Dave Tippett's a good coach. I don't like their goaltending. I don't like their defense. I don't like their secondary scoring. So that's going to be awesome. gotta plan for all that. So, but you heard our predictions, and we also want to know what you think. Put everything down in all the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. A lot of you have been doing that. Thank you very much. We'll be producing shorter segments of all these videos very soon, as we also move into our editorials. Anthony, you want to do yours first about the playoffs that we didn't get to do last week?
Yeah.
And let's cue the intro.
Did you like that video? Of course you did. So why not check out some more of our content? You can check the playlist right here or right here.
Your ideas are intriguing to me, and I wish to subscribe to your newsletter.